The reason I was kind of drawn to this one, I mean, aside from the fact that it's queer, but I recently reconnected with someone I used to know in high school, and now we've started dating. So I was like, this is serendipitous. So I have to do this
What?
movie. So I was just wondering where
Did you
the
also have two meddling moms?
no, just I have a meddling mother, and she's very, very endearing. But no, it was like a weird, we were kind of friends for like a year, and out of the blue, just got a message, and now here we are.
Hey,
Um,
congratulations.
Thank you. But I was wondering, like, where did this story, like, what made you interested in telling this story about two people from high school, like, reconnecting? And was it ever going to be a coming out story, or like have that element to it?
Yep. So the original writers always had them as high school sweethearts that were reconnecting. And I think that's just such a very common trope in the holiday rom-com genre. And that's what I really liked about this is I was like, okay, we're starting there with this tropey, fantastic, reconnected high school sweethearts. And then of course one's moved off to the big city. So I think what's it's just such a common trope in the holiday rom-com genre. What I thought was super fun about this and made it a little different were the meddling moms.
Hmm.
So that's what I think makes this a that like just I think notches it up a little bit in the like adorable, cutesy, feel good part of the story that I don't find is in as many holiday rom coms. They might have one meddling parent or just one parent who is trying to get them together, but the fact that both of them are working on it I think is just and like really working hard and colluding was the fun part of it. So yeah, I think it's just kind of that great trope that is part of the genre.
So what do you have to say about people who think of rom-coms
Oh,
as
and
like,
you know what, hang on, Tina, I
yes,
didn't answer the last part. There was never a coming out
yes.
of it. And I really try and I don't want to say I stay away from coming out stories, but they're not I don't to me that's not the interesting part of the story.
Right.
I think we have seen and should continue to see coming out stories. I think they are valuable. I think they're like great for the shared experience that the community has. Um, I just sort of really want to tell the love story part of it, and there's so much other things. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that was a huge thing for me growing up. You see all these coming out stories, and then it's just like a dead end, and you're like, well, what comes after that? So it's been
yeah,
really nice to like see that change like in my own lifetime of like how stories are changing.
yeah.
But my question is, what do you how do you feel about people who look at rom-coms as like a lesser genre? Because I don't personally love when people do that.
Yeah, yeah, they do really kind of like
Hmm.
poo-poo rom-coms, don't
Yep.
they? You know what I think it is? I think because the rom-com has is so formulaic. And so instead of looking at the rom-com and looking at a good one and going, wow, within this known formula, look how you told this story. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
so I don't know. I honestly, I don't think about it too much. Like I always sort of kind of laugh when someone goes, "Oh, this is a very predictable story," and I was like, "It's a rom com. Like you should know what you're going to get in a rom com." So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I honestly, I don't think about it too much. I think I'm having too much fun making them and watching it and just like, if that's what someone thinks, like, that's fine. They're just, they're candy. They're so yummy and good and they make us feel good and, you know,
Yeah. So I have to ask then, what's your favorite rom-com trope?
oh, what's my favorite rom-com trope?
Or maybe one that you
Oh,
haven't gotten to use yet that you really love that you're excited for a next film?
yeah. What's my favorite rom-com trope? I do think I do think and I've done it in all not all four, but all three of the past ones have been someone coming home.
Mm-hmm.
And that family piece of it that you get. And I think I really like that, because especially for our community, where not everyone has the ability to come home to a loving family. So if I can create that and I can show that that is a possibility and someone can live vicariously through that, um, I think that's really important, for the community. And I want to give a quick little pivot, or not pivot, but I want to mention this, and that's why it's important to me. There was, in the movie Kissing Jessica Stein,
Mm-hmm.
there's the moment when she's on the porch with her mom, and she's like really upset because like she didn't bring, the girl home, and but she can't tell her mom why, but the mom knows it. And the mom goes and tells this whole story, and they're sitting there, and it's this beautiful, the whole thing I think is in a two shot, and the mom is starting to get teary-eyed, and she says, I think it's like, I think she's a lovely girl.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like at that moment, and I remember at that time in my life when I saw it, my mom, who's amazingly supportive now, was not super supportive and understanding of like my being in a lesbian relationship. And I remember at that scene, I lost it.
Mm-hmm.
I just, because I was like, that's what I wanted my mom to say to me about bringing a girl home at that
Mm-hmm.
time. And so and that is a memory burned into my brain. And if I can create that moment for someone else who sees someone embracing their child who's non-binary, who's gay, and helping them find love, and that can be something they hold on to, like, then I have done what I feel like I was like put on this earth to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that was what stood out to me is like I'm very lucky to have very supportive parents, but like it was still like kind of like a gut punch to see two moms who have fully accepted their children, fully care about their children, so much so that like they've taken it upon themselves to kind of wreak loving havoc. And it's like it's endearing, but then it's also like as like a queer person, people, your friends or like significant others who don't have that experience, and to
Yeah,
see that was just like really really beautiful. I love
yeah,
that part. I love the meddling
yeah.
moms.
Oh,
Very fun.
I know. They're so, and they're also, the good news too is like they were the most loving and supportive cast on
Oh.
set as well. Like they really took that role, and like that is how they were to Dia and Andi. Like it was just so lovely, the way the cast like bonded. So yeah, they, and every now and then we might I remember Janet, who plays Sam's mom, there's a line where she says, "Oh, please." And I thought Tilly's daughter was the dramatic one. And she came up to me and she goes, "Hey, I changed that to child to make it non-gendered. Is that okay?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, Janet, that's such a good catch. Thank you so much." And it's like that's the kind of person that she was, where she was like, she was like this mom where she was like, let's not make this word gendered, let's make it child. And I was like, oh my god, I love you so much.
That's incredible. Okay, I
Yeah.
think that's all of my time. So I have one last question. What is your favorite holiday tradition?
So every year, my mom and I decorate the Christmas tree. So when I'm in Nashville, I live with my parents, and my dad does not like decorating very much. And my mom like loves it. Like they could not be more opposite of that. And so every year, my mom and I go get I go upstairs, I pull all the ornaments down, and we have ornaments going back to when like, I was born.
Mhm.
So, and that's over 40 years. So, and then we'll like take them out and we'll put like our sort of favorite ones on, and we'll like remember it and talk about, we'll play Christmas music, and, either have a glass of champagne or an Irish coffee. And that is something that's really, really special, to me, is decorating, with my mom. And then if someone happens to be in town, and visiting, they will also decorate. I remember one year, Dom PC was in town and ended up decorating the tree with us. And so we wore crazy hats and like, so we'll involve anyone who's willing to come in and decorate. But yeah, I love putting the ornaments on the tree with my mom.
And that's in the movie too. So
That is in the movie. The whole family, I know. You'll see. Yeah, there's a lot in these movies that are definitely from little instances from my family. So
yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking with me. I'm very excited
thank
for
you.
more people to see it.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the signal boost as well, and like
Yeah,
doing the interview. And yeah, I think this is a really special one, and I hope as many people see it as possible.
I hope so too.
Cool. Thank you,
All right.
Tina.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.